it wasn't just the 2000s. Trump was mentioned several times in lyrics in the 90s. Trump has always been an icon. He was fucking doing Pizza Hut commercials, and he was innocuous. You remember that he did Pizza Hut commercials with his ex-wife about getting divorced and stuff. Like he was just out there to be. It's like, look, I made a lot of money. I own some really big buildings all over the place, right? I'm a billionaire. I'm a symbol of wealth and power, and I'm a hard-nosed New York stereotype asshole. Like that was his brand, and that brand. I mean, this was before social media. Like he had a public persona that he wanted out there, and he got out there, and he was iconic. I mean, he was. I mean, it's all marketing. You know what I mean? Like the dude was always thinking
Yeah,
about marketing himself.
marketing genius, bro.
Yeah.
But you didn't feel strongly about him one way or the other.
Not until
He was
politics
just
got
like
involved.
Right.
right, but he was just like any other pop. I mean, you'd feel the same way about him as you'd feel about Pizza Hut. It made sense why he would be doing one of those commercials like, "Oh yeah, this is just something in pop culture consciousness. I know about Trump, I know about
Yep.
Pizza Hut.
Yep.
These are icons." And that was it.
I
But you
just
didn't feel
realized he
anything
was on
strongly.
the Home Alone 2 scene. Like
Yeah,
I
he
didn't
was in
even
Home
realize
Alone.
he
Yeah.
was in that until like
Yeah,
I
he was
recently
neutral.
seen
That's a good way to put it.
it. Yeah.
He wasn't
Yeah,
he was
neutral.
neutral. He was just an icon in pop culture. So I don't remember people having any particular opinions about him. I don't remember anybody ever saying he was over the top great, like you should follow his life story. I don't remember anybody saying he was bottom of the barrel scumbag. Even after the
The
whole
TV show even
the
made him
Central
like more
Park,
lovable.
even with the Central Park shit, like even though like so this guy took out a full page ad in the New York, I think it was like New York Times or something, saying that they were guilty, and I think he even maybe possibly called for the death penalty. I'm not sure, but it was like it didn't stick. If you know what I'm saying, it didn't stick. Like, oh, this is the racist guy who wanted
He
those
definitely turned
people
around from
to
that.
die. Because think about how early that happened versus how many years later he had a TV show, everything else. It didn't even sully his reputation with rappers because rappers were still mentioning him like, yo, money like Trump or whatever, or staying at Trump Tower. They rapped about him all the time. So not until politics came into play, that's when he really got demonized. It was the worst thing that could ever happen to the country. And it was confusing to me a little bit. See, I thought from the moment he started running and started talking the way he was talking, in my mind, I was like, this is the closest thing to the president that America deserves. He's like America personified. He's like walking around, I'm better than you, fuck you, like that's America. You know what I'm saying? That's America in a nutshell. So to see him acting like that, I was like, this might be the first time America has a president that's not like a keeping up appearances decorum mask. Like, like Obama was. He's like this nice, well-spoken guy, drone strike your babies. You know what I'm saying? Like Trump was like, this is exactly the face of America. He's the president that we deserve. And I still didn't feel one way or the other about him because I don't know anything about him that would make me be like, oh, this could be bad. I personally don't believe a president has much to do with what happens in the country anyway. I think
Nah, they
I've
just got
always,
veto power. That's
yeah,
just about it.
I've always
That's
accepted that figurehead idea. Like he's just a guy. If he goes too far off script, he gonna slip and fall. You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna slip and fall in the bathtub. I don't believe he's the main guy with all the power. I think he's just the person that they sit in the seat. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't be any different with Trump or Hillary Clinton or anybody else. I just don't pay into that idea that or if
I
Hillary
was
Clinton gets elected, we're done as a country. Like, nah,
I
I don't
wasn't
think so.
I wasn't a fan of him just because like of his asshole demeanor. That's why I never liked Kanye
Yeah,
either.
I don't like jerks,
But
that's as far as it
but
goes.
like I didn't like Hillary either because I'm like fuck the Clintons. And I wasn't a fan of them
I'll
either.
keep it real.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll keep it real. I'm fairly apolitical, which means I was talking about this earlier in a text thing. I've always kind of been apolitical. I never paid any attention to it. There was never a time in my life where I was like, yep, I'm gonna vote for this guy or even vote against the other person. I just never really cared. So when I saw the Clinton thing happening, the only thing I knew about Bill Clinton was the bill of goods that was sold to black people. Like, yo,
Yeah.
this is the first black president. He smokes weed, he cheats on his wife, and he plays saxophone. He's basically black. That's all I knew about Bill Clinton. Hillary, only thing I knew about her was that's Bill Clinton's
She'll
wife.
bomb your babies too.
That was Bill Clinton's wife. I didn't know nothing, and then all this other shit started to pop up about Haiti and like, and
Yep.
how many associates they have who've committed suicide
Bro,
allegedly.
I got stories. I got Haitian stories about like when they had the little shit down there, helicopters just flying in and out, just stealing resources.
And I
in and
also
out.
don't think, I could be wrong, but I also don't think there's much difference between what the Clintons would be doing in their spare time versus any other big name politician, because that's how this shit works. It's like I was talking to the homie Jeremy recently about Hollywood and shit, and the people who function there, we were agreeing on a point that you don't necessarily have to do anything to get yourself blackballed or like that in Hollywood. Like if you go to a party and they say, yo, we gonna do some coke, and you're like, nah, I'm good, that you might not get another call for work. Like that's close enough. A homeboy of mine experienced the same thing. He was working on the job. Somebody offered him some coke. Like they hung out after work was over, and he offered him some cocaine. My boy's like, I don't do that shit no more. And then he got kicked off the job, and they didn't hire him no more. Like,
that's his problem. He said no more.
Right. He said no more coke. And they like, to them, that's how they feel you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you won't even do coke, what's going to happen when I break out the adrenochrome? Like, you going to ruin the party, bro. Like, we can't have this guy floating around if he ain't willing to do no questionable shit. So same thing with politicians. I'm sure they got their own parameters and shit like that too, where they say something or they try something. If you don't laugh at a joke, or if they be like, yeah, we're going to bomb these brown people, and you be like, well, maybe that's not right, we should slow down, you ain't invited to the next party, bro. Because this train is going somewhere. We're not going to allow you to come up here and derail the shit. And that's how I felt about the Clintons. I didn't see them as particularly more egregious than any other politician. Legit said mandatory workplace cocaine. That's a fact. Like in California, in LA particularly, like if somebody offers you cocaine, you gotta just take one for the team. You can't, if you expect to work in this town, you're gonna have to do some nose candy. Like that's just what.
Well, that is. In LA, that's what going out for drinks is called.
Right,
like, hey, we're all going out for drinks after work.
And
oh,
they
drinks,
invented powder your nose.
Yeah, by drinks I mean sniff cocaine. You got to know that. So, or you making this, you got to have a better excuse than I don't do it anymore, because that's like a morality call. You got to be like,
that's
nah.
why, like, oh, you don't do it no more.
Nah,
like,
you got to be like, nah, I've done way too much coke this week. I think my septum is deviated. I got to give it a break. Like, you got to make it so it's not about.
Say you
no.
It's
not. It's not that I don't want to do your coke. I love coke. I've just been going a little too aggressive as of late. I got to cut back. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, the other night, I thought I was going to take a nap and get some rest in. Next thing you know, I woke up half naked running down Santa Monica Boulevard, bro. I got to stop the drug, at least for a couple days. You can't just tell them you don't do it no more, because then you're fucked.
That would get you your raise, Billy, right there.
Right. You gotta make it worse. You gotta be like, no, I can't do any right now because I got a dead hooker in the trunk, and I need to figure out. I need to have a clear head to figure out what to do with this body.
I don't want to try to fuck the corpse with coke dick. Right. I mean, come on.
Then you might get a raise then, and like, oh, this guy.
Yeah, you might get called to the vice president's office. Like, hey, great. I heard about your hooker like and coke dick story. Yeah, you know, but what does that say? I mean, one, it's a testament to the power of marketing, right? Like, you being completely apolitical, it was so much in the culture. Like, you got some notion of it, even if you weren't paying attention. And then think about the advertising and branding at work. Like, okay, he's the black president. Why again? Cheats
he plays
on wife,
a saxophone.
His musically inclined. All the things that you would be immediately offended by if the wrong person said, oh, well, you know the things that are qualities that involve black people. You know, they're talented musicians.
He drinks grape juice.
They do cheat on their wife, and you know they love getting high. You know, like, but that was how that was, because I remember comedians with those lines of jokes, and that was like kind of how he was. And I mean, the fact, like, it was like him going.
He was on Arsenio Hall.
That was like he was pushed the saxophone
as the black president. He was pushed. I remember this to this day.
Yes, but how is that any different than when his wife shows up and it's like, "Hey guys,
there's hot sauce in my purse.
There's hot sauce in my purse. I'm here with my good friends. LeBron
Well, can you
James
talk
and
about the
Jay
super
Z.
predator thing you guys did 10 years ago?
They're not
Hot
talking
sauce.
about policies, and nobody cares about policies. Like we were saying, I mean, because I got roped in for the same thing. I didn't give a fuck about politics either. I was like, I know this shit. There was the only conversations that happened as teenagers were like, the government's probably ran by aliens. Here's this book. Read about Behold the Pale Horse. They're eating babies in the White House. Like it's all evil shit. It's some satanic pentagram shit. If you look at Washington D.C. from the aerial shot, it's a satanic altar. You see a pentagram.
Listen,
Like
their
all
basketball team was the Bullets. They had to change it to the Wizards. Tells you all about the city.
the Grand
Fact.
Wizards, the Washington Grand Wizards.
Tells you
So,
all you need to know.
but you know, but they gotta, like you said, there's a key for every lock, and then they're like, look, I know you haven't given a fuck about any of this shit lately, but here's Barack Obama, and aren't you like, you know how racist this place is? Aren't you glad? Don't you? Aren't you sad about racism? You know what? I am kind of sad about racism. I think racism was super mean. Yeah, it was mean, wasn't it? What can I do? You can vote for Barack
Vote for
Obama.
this guy. Yo, the coercion on black people for voting for Obama. Like I had a motherfucker like fuck with me. I would go down the hood, get Chinese food, because I would be like, I'm not voting, because like he's gonna win, because black people are gonna get up together and vote for him. They don't even care about his policy, where this man came from. They don't give a fuck that he's a tether. Like he's technically a tether.
He's
They didn't give a
absolutely a
fuck.
tether. No,
They didn't give a fuck.
He's half
And
a
then they're like,
tether.
oh,
That's
you're not
even
gonna
worse.
vote? You're not gonna vote? My people died. My people died, and
right.
I'm a tether too. I'm thinking in my head like, listen, I don't
But
even.
but that's what I'm saying about the power of advertising and how it got into people's consciousness. Because, like you said, Trump took out that full page ad, which now is racist. But at the time, he's just a good New Yorker. Yo,
Right.
they're fucking gang raping bitches in Central Park. Like, fuck that. That's a terrible thing to like. And people were
I think that's
supporting him.
called
And
a field trip to the vineyard.
according
it's
to
a, I'm
according
sorry,
to
I'm
Joey
sorry.
Diaz, they've been doing it.
It's a field trip to the vineyard, but they could have at that time chosen to make hay of it to frame him as a racist, but there was no desire to do it. So it's the same information. It's the same
Right.
information
Right.
available, but there is a coordinated media effort that they can choose to say, oh no, he's a neutral actor in this. He generates money. We're not going to go after him. But like you said, once politics was involved, then all of a sudden that's how those things want it. There's a new way that those things are going to be framed. So it's all dishonest, man. But I guess the most dishonest or the most honest dishonesty that you can get is a low effort to lie. That's it, and that's why I can't just hate this dude and be all riled up like I'm supposed to be, because it's how I prove how much I hate racism. That just is a silly. That's just a silly way to construct the
But
whole
that's what
thing,
the
and that's how it is in
Democrats.
public.
That's how the Democrats want to
Nah,
play.
it's not just Democrats.
You don't
It's
think so?
polite. It's polite. It's basically polite society now.
I don't know.
Basically,
I'm not around people like that. I just know. I know it is. I know it's pushed by a certain group of people. Like this is the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? And I can't. That's something I hate. I hate like when you're telling me this is the bad guy, and then it's like 10 years down the line. It's like, wait a minute. How is he the bad guy? But y'all did this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't really have I don't have the ability to compartmentalize different politicians in my head. Everybody's just a politician, and that could be reductionist. It could be I don't know. It could be a lot of things, but I just don't see any difference. I can't allow myself to see any difference in this side or that side, these politics or those politics. And I know we got even some people that we know who would say, all right, we're better off with people who are aligned right than people who are aligned left. And that may be true just because of now what I'm looking at unfold in the world. A lot of the weird shit that's going on seems to be helmed by people who consider themselves the left. And it's a lot of weird shit that I don't understand. It's a lot of weird shit that's kind of repulsing to me. And I don't see the big picture. And I'm sure there's somebody who can spit a bunch of nuance and explain to you on a long scale why it's needed or whatever. But when I just look at it, I'm like, yo, this shit is weird, and I don't get it. I don't see shit that I consider weird coming from the right. The right, mostly, they're talking about economics. They're talking about, it's just regular shit. But to me, the people who are aligning themselves with the left, it's a lot of strange shit going on over there, and I just don't get it. I don't understand why they think this is the hill to die on. Like, how many people who are on the right so far have been caught naked inside the Senate room filming weird porn? No, I won't say weird. Let's not say weird porn. How many people on the right have gotten naked and filmed porn inside the Senate room? Has any of them done that yyet?
This is the first time that it's come out. I mean, at the very
I'm
least,
pretty
they've
sure
gotten sloppy.
both sides have done something.
Because when you're careful, your kids are never going to catch you fucking. When you're careful.
Right.
You're careful. You make consideration like, all right, the door's locked, all right, it's late, or they're at school, or there's a coordinated effort because you try to avoid fucking when the kids can find out about it. So, but if you just have a reckless abandon and you don't care,
Right.
and that's what that tells me. I'm sure they were always having orgies in all of these. Like, every time you see a State of the Union, just put a black light there.
Oh, no black lights.
There's semen everywhere. There's semen all over that place, and they just never got caught. But now there's just such a, I mean, this shit's just about over. Everything's about to collapse. We're falling apart. There's no culture. Like, am I really gonna be that cautious? John, take your pants down. I'm gonna bang you in your asshole. We're gonna film it right here on the podium.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the left is just like, let's just show them what we do when they're not looking, and the right's like, bro, chill. we can't do this.
Come on, bro.
How many people on the right?
You gotta be conservative.
How many people on the right have been caught cross-dressing and stealing people's luggage from the airport?
I feel like there's a few. I just
I'm not saying how many have done it. How many have been caught doing it?
I've been caught.
You got something to be said for being careful and showing decorum.
You know what I think it is? I think what it is there's this master plan to kind of get the rest of the world to be like, look, you're just as depraved and freaky as us. Just let us be who we are.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what it is. Cause like, even like with the porn sites, like it used to be, you'd have to pass around the skin tape, the
sacred VHS tapes.
It was hard to get, and when you could go get it when you became an adult, right? Now it's like $40-$50 if you wanted something decent, or you get 4 hours of like bitches with clearly they have drug addictions. You get 4 hours of a megabit. There was a higher price to go and get pornography, but now it's completely free. It's completely free. You can pay for it. Some people do, but you can go get anything you want for free. And I think like some of the natural algorithms, it wants to start giving you some more weird shit. Like, oh, I hear you like titties and pussy, do you? Excellent. We have titties and all the titties and pussy that you could want, all the colors of the rainbow. Come and look at these titties and pussies. And oh, by the way, some of these titties and pussies are getting in the vineyard. Some of them are stuck in the dryer, and you're going to help them out. Some of them are your stepmom. How about your stepdaughter? How about your stepsister? How about one of your tenants, and she really needs rent money? How do you feel about being a teacher in a high school, and one of your students really needs an A? And there's all these scenarios like, well, I never considered any of this vile, creepy shit before, but I mean, I guess if it's the algorithm, sure, let's check it out. And I think that's just one dimension of it, because now everybody's mind state, to some degree or another, at one point you've taken your conscious, because porn is the number one thing on the internet, I'm pretty sure, right? Overall, like it's the number.
That's
one
what
thing
the internet was made for.
It seems like that in hindsight, right? So
that was the main goal of the internet.
like there's a huge swath of people. I mean, it was even weaponized, I think, like in Afghanistan or some shit, or one of these sieges in Iraq or some shit. So it's like it's it's one dimension of, even if you're not doing depraved shit, there's some kind of apparatus in
You're
place
still a part of it.
to draw your consciousness there. Like, all right, okay, so you won't come into the orgy on the Senate room floor. No
But you'll
problem.
watch the orgy on the
Well,
Senate
right.
floor.
But you'll let your mind go just a little closer there with a little creepiness. You'll visit in your mind. You may not do it in your body, but you go there in your consciousness. Okay, now, like what you were saying, just let us be and do what we want. Oh, and here's another thing. Look, I'm not saying I want to bang your kids, but just let me come and dress up really sexual, and I'll just read to them. Just let me read them a book. Like, what are you, a bigot? It's innocuous. All right, look. So you won't let us adopt children because you think that we're gonna bang them and sell them to our friends and let our friends bang them, and that the only reason why we're trying to get a baby is so we have a little boy to groom. I know that's what you think, and you're disgusting. How dare you think that? So if you won't, we'll just make it like a popular thing in culture to celebrate having a surrogate. Like, yo, bake this baby for us. Bake our new sex slave, I mean baby, for us, and let us get a. So like almost kind of like in front of everybody's face, there's all these things where it's some creepy underlying shit, but they kind of want you to just come along consciously and be okay with it, and they want to shame you if you're not okay with it. But like, I don't know, I guess there could be gay dudes who are really just like, I want to deal with snotty noses and shitty diapers and screaming and crying. Like, it almost seems like one of the benefits of being gay is, yo, we can fuck each other and come over each other all we want, and we're never gonna have any responsibilities that result from our endless fucking. This is awesome. So it does seem weird and kind of unnatural to be
Gay
like,
people,
what we
gay
really want
people
to
wanted to
do?
have kids. That was a strange thing to me.
We want to raise a kid, but the obvious thing is, if you're coming from a culture where it's kind of acceptable to fuck young boys, then it gives it another dimension where you can't be mad if people are like, look, you may be a totally cool dude, you may be a totally righteous person or whatever, but I don't know. I got some apprehensions about this. What do you mean? Like, isn't like one of like your heroes, your folk heroes, like Harvey Milk? Like, he was the first openly gay politician. Yeah, it was. Yeah, wasn't he fucking young kids? Well, they weren't 18. And didn't y'all pass laws that y'all don't want people to go to jail if you're fucking a kid, as long as they're not more than 10 years younger than you? Yeah, so we passed some laws. All right, well, that feels weird. Like, you want to convince me that you're not going to do anything creepy with these kids, but then you're like, you know what? Let's start a program where we're going to dress scantily clad and like dance for them and read for them and have gay events where it's highly sexualized. We want to hang out with kids. Like, all of that shit to some degree is tied together. Is I don't know how to file that information somewhere different. You know what
Baby
I mean? Like,
cyborgs.
but but didn't they kind of make that all a part of like a single movement? Right? It's because they're the political movement that said, all right, everybody's got to be kind of categorized in a box. Like, you're black, you have to think like this. If you don't, you're some kind of weirdo. If you're white and you're not really a racist or a bigot, then you got to feel okay with X, Y, and Z. Like, all of the identities and options of how you could feel within that identity were already kind of picked out and handed out to everybody. And then you want to convince me that I got to start, like, how can I not think, if this is all a part of the same movement and the same struggle, how can I not consider, when you're asking me to be cool with two dudes getting a young boy fresh out of the oven to be alone with in their house, and for, you know what I mean? Like, how do you expect me to be comfortable with that and say, oh no, it's just there's nothing wrong, man? But then on the other end of it, within the same movement, you got dudes showing their dicks to kindergartners in libraries. Like, oh, I had a dick slip. Like, there was a drag queen that literally went and read to the kids and had a dick slip. How do you forget to
Wait,
put
no,
on drawers?
hold on.
Come on.
You didn't hear
All the
about that?
No.
dads there who didn't like
Bro,
beat
look
that
it up.
nigga up
He
that
had a
day.
dick slip. He was
Bro,
just crossing his legs.
all the
But think about it.
dads
He's
who
sitting in the
didn't
chair,
beat that
and the
nigga
little
up.
kids are sitting on the floor looking up at him. How do you show up to that setting and forget your drawers? Look it up. Drag Queen Story Hour. Dude's dick came out. He was wearing no drawers.
I don't think none of those people are trying to do the thing where it's like, oh, like we just like to be around kids to help them. No, you're a weirdo. Cause like it's one thing where it's like, okay,
nobody likes fucking kids.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like it's one thing where it's like, you know, you want to help the kids. Cool. It's always important to like help the kids, make sure you know they have everything that they need, because when you didn't have shit, you couldn't get shit, and then it made you be like this bad person. So if you fix it, you fix it. You see what I'm saying? But like when you have like these weirdo motherfuckers, I want to wear a dress and hang out with kids. No, it's either it's one or the other, sir. It's one or the other.
I don't even want to call them weirdos. Like
I'm gonna call them weirdos because if you have a dick slip, if you're reading a child's book and your dick slips out, fuck out of here. My dick doesn't slip out when I'm talking to.
Oh no! But I'm not gonna lump everybody into that. But what I'm saying is there was definitely an incident where that happened, and that's the concern, is when you're bringing anything sexualized to young kids. Anybody is
that's where I draw. That's where I draw the line. I draw the line.
Right, but there seems to be a massive movement. It's all in the same vehicle, and people put it all on par. Like it's just this false equivalency of like, yo, you want to gay bash people and you hate gay people? No. I don't hate gay people at all. No. I think that you do. Well, why do you think that? Well, you said you don't want gay men to be having little gay boys like as adoptive. Well, I don't know. I didn't say I don't want it, but I got some concerns. Oh, and you also said you don't want drag queens doing sexual dances for like small kids. You also said you didn't want that. It's like, yeah, I don't really feel comfortable with that. Why is this all being put in the same bag? Like that's where it feels like it's absolutely purposeful, and it's completely tied to whether you're a decent person or not. Is if you sign off on all of it. Like you can't be like, all right, well, I think you can get gay married. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Like you can't. There is no degrees. It's like if you're against Drag Queen Story Hour, well, you must also be against gay marriage, and
that's
you
my
must
only
also
problem.
want gay people not to exist. It's
that's
like,
one of my
that's
problems
not all the
too.
same thing.
That's my problems too, because I kind of agree with that, because it's like when they're like, oh, you can have gay marriage, like I don't care if y'all niggas get married. I don't even want to get married. You know what I'm saying? So it's like have it, but then when they start pushing it, then it's like what's your purpose after that? Like what are you really looking for at this point?
I think they want us all to, if we're not all gonna be creeps, to at least be comfortable with creeps. If you start calling pedophiles minor attracted people, like why do you come up with innocuous terms? Like why? And you could even say like, okay, we could find people's brain chemistry and certain like genetic factors that'll make you predisposed. Okay, cool. I could understand that, but I don't understand the move to try to make it innocuous. You know what I mean? Like whenever there's something dangerous in the world, right? They got to put all those warning labels. Yo, if you eat this, it's gonna kill you. Yo, this shit is high radiation. Oh, this shit is flammable. There's like crossbones and little fire icons. Like, yo, this shit is dangerous. Shit is labeled to let you know, like, it's some dangerous shit. Why would you want to make the identity of a pedophile less dangerous?
I'm a dinosaur
unless you wanted them to have access. And that's what it feels like. It's like, yo, come on, just let us fuck the kids. Come on.
It's
Can we
beyond
just
our understanding, because they fuck the kids in Greek and they all were fucking philosophers.
right,
Who
right,
knows?
and then there was a time where it's just a part of what you do. Yo, I ate some chickpeas, I fucked some boys,
I
and
got
now
a
I'm about to
couple.
go to the
I have like 10
gymnasium and get some
10-year-olds
exercise.
listening to me talk about life.
Yeah,
and
yo,
I fuck
look,
them on the side.
this dude carries my armor, and I bang
Yeah, I
him in
talk
the
about
ass.
life on the side.
And eventually, I'm gonna teach him to be a warrior. It's just
It's a
the
way
way
of
the
life.
system works.
We'll
It's
get
the
around
way
to
of
the
life.
philosophy. Eventually, we'll get around to the philosophy.
But this dick isn't gonna suck itself. But then we can talk. Then we can start talking philosophy.
Terrible. That's
But
terrible.
it is
Maybe
terrible.
it's beyond our understandings.
But I feel like they want us to get back to like that level of comfort. Like, and it's all coming from academia. They all got Sigma Phi, whatever. They're all named after Greek alphabets. Like, this is their shit. They're like, oh yeah. We're gonna teach all this shit in college. We're gonna eventually get it to school, and basically, we just want you to feel comfortable. But okay, we're not gonna fuck all the kids. Just let us fuck some of the kids. Let some of us fuck some of the kids. We got a deal. And look, if you get mad at me, I got your browser history. You looked at some fucked up shit too. Can we just you pretended you were a landlord and fucked your desperate tenant. You extorted pussy in your mind. You're kind of a creep.
That's true.
Let me fuck some of the kids. That's what it feels like. It feels like this big, coordinated, just gay Trojan horse. Just let us in. We'll give you all the porn that you want. And while you jerking off, we're gonna fuck some of the kids. So just, can we be cool with that? Let's change some of the language. Let me go read some books and put some really graphic novels in the 3rd grade library, and just let me be.
They're like, so it's totally fine that you guys watch, Stepdaughter Stuck in the Dryer. Like, that's okay.
Right. And you got to answer for that. There's gonna be internet browser tribunals from our gay.
It's already gay that you're watching porn to begin with. They already got you.
It is.
Because you've already sat there and watched another man's dick.
Dude, I've thought about it. Right, because it's like,
if you're not watching lesbian porn,
dick.
you're pretty much you're already in.
I know.
You're in the shallow end. You're in the shallow end of the gay pool.
Yeah.
Right.
You're sitting on the edge.
If you sat there for 30 minutes.
You're sitting on the edge of the gay pool. You got your feet in the water. You didn't dive off the diving board and do a triple tuck and splash into the. But you're definitely in the same pool.
You in there.
All of your favorite parts involve a dick. Go back to any scene. A dick is in 100% of the shots of your favorite parts.
Come on,
dude. You know how YouTube has that thing on the video that shows you the most viewed part?
Oh yeah.
What if the porn things what if they had that too? And they, like, you just go to all the most viewed parts. It's like, do you think this is a completely heterosexual screen cap right there, buddy? This was your favorite part of the video right here.
Let me tell you.
I screamed for the cameraman. I'm like, what gave you the idea to come behind this man?
Because he knows what the viewer wants to see. He knows how to do his job.
How did we get to this angle?
Yo, porn videos are just getting head. Like the shot is, it's 90% dick. It's dick with a face going on. You're basically just staring at a dick.
The dick is the main course. You touch the pool.
The main course.
It's cold. It's cold in this pool. So you pretty much touch the gay waters at this point.
Dude, there's no woman in the room, and you're actively touching a dick. Yes, it's your dick, but you're like,
if you're not watching lesbian porn, and I don't mean the lesbian porn with the dildos, because you're still looking at a dick. I'm talking about straight scissoring, licking, and kissing, and that's it. That's what gets you off. You're not gay. You're good.
You know what? I think that's the most. I think that's the most reasonable thing I've heard in, I'm gonna say, over a decade. I don't know that anything I've heard has been truer. If there's a dick in your porn, you've got tendencies.
Right.
There's something about it. It didn't disgust you enough to say, I'm out.
Yeah.
I need to go find something else. You're like, I don't mind if a dick's there. I don't mind.
I've been doing this for 10 years.
Listen, why am I going to quibble about there being a dick taking up 90% of the camera shot right now? and I'm holding the dick right now.
And bro,
I'm all about the dick.
It's so bad you watch the dicks come.
Yeah, and that's like the money shot. Like,
Yeah, that's the part you're waiting
thing.
for.
That's the gayest
to see
thing.
some semen sprayed out of this dick. This mighty, powerful, veiny beast of a dick. When do I get that money shot?
If the thought of touching a penis doesn't make you lose your boner, guess what? Even if it's yours that you touch it, that just because you're touching one should make you lose your erection. And if it doesn't, I got some news for you.
Dude, it should. If you're gay enough if you can touch a dick and still be hard, even if it's your own, masturbation is gay. If you really think about it long enough, what is another scenario where you got a dick in your hand and you're just like, I'm about to come. I'm about to just saying it, putting it on paper and putting it out that it's troubling.
Oh, that's like I feel like you should. That's a question like a psychiatrist would ask you. And like, so you can maintain an erection and reach orgasm just from touching a penis. I don't like the way you worded that, sir.
No, hold on. But while I'm touching a penis, I'm watching another penis actually do the fucking.
It's gay inception.
So what you're basically telling me is there's no real woman involved. There's light representing a woman on a screen, but in the actual reality outside of the matrix, there's just you holding a dick. And this is how you come. Yes. That's gay.
I got some news for you, buddy.
That's
gay. There's no getting around it. Masturbation is gay. That's compendium worthy.
But technically all porn is gay porn.
All porn is gay
porn.
All porn is gay porn.
Oh, that sounds like
because why is lesbian porn on the top? Lesbian porn should always be number one, correct? Always.
It should be, but it not.
Should be.
In a perfect world.
It's low tier porn.
Oh man. Gosh, this is bad. I'm sure we're gonna get some pushback from this one. I'm sure there's some people who are not gonna like this conclusion.
The people that are touching dicks. They're dick touchers.
The people who can't wait for the house to be empty. They can't wait for everybody.
They can't wait
so everybody leaves and I can just get my hand on a dick. And not just any dick, a throbbing, hard, about to come dick. Can I just get my hand around it?
Hey, listen, I ain't mad at you. It's not like anything's wrong with it, but you should just know what you're engaging in and what you're doing. You should just know what you're doing.
Listen, it's better than fucking kids in the middle of the Senate chamber, okay? Better than that.
Way better.
So there's degrees to this. Yeah, it's kind of gross, and you're just watching women that have been molested by uncles and stepdads work out their trauma.
Allegedly.
No, it is. I don't. There is no porn star that hasn't been molested or doesn't have a drug problem. Now, you might find a few that are like glaring exceptions and just, but that doesn't mean anything.
The majority
doesn't mean anything that you have one or two exceptions. The vast majority, some shit. Now, if you start talking about OnlyFans girls, that's something a little different. They might just be getting fucked by their boyfriend. We're talking
about the hardcore
on a hustle.
Casting
right.
couch.
When you just show up to the shoot and you're like, yep, I'm just fucking this dude that I got nothing to do with. And you got a drug problem or you have some shit happen to you. There's no way, So, and I think that's what OnlyFans was designed to do. Like, listen, I'm not that fucked up to get a meth problem and relive fucking
it's making teachers and nurses have OnlyFans. That's exactly what it is. It makes them feel less or better than the person that's doing like a real like porno, even though it's all the same shit.
But it is
still got to sell your soul.
Listen, where OnlyFans is less evil in the trauma of the girl and what the girl has to be subjected to, and it's more likely not out of desperation there, or there's examples of it, or less likely to be, desperation there. The it amplified evil with it is it's kind of more of a connection, and the way that it extorts money out of dudes by kind of piecemealing the content. You know what I mean? Like
They're
it
DJ Vlading. They're DJ Vlading the content. That's what OnlyFans is. Is DJ Vlad content? Is basically.
but it's
Here's
impersonating.
part 2. Here's part 3. Hey, do you want part 6
Oh
for
yeah,
$40?
And it's like, yo, for $50 you could watch me get fucked over the sink. Now, if
Yep.
you want to see me get fucked in the shower, that's gonna be $100.
That's
But
it.
if you're gonna, but bitch, it was $9.99 a month. I thought I was getting everything for $9.99.
No,
When I subscribe to
no.
Team Skeet, I get access to all of the shit. I gotta buy each one of your videos, you stingy bitch.
And listen,
Like,
and that's why for $10 a month you can join my OnlyFans, my left foot, by the way, and I'll lotion my feet for just $5 a month.
And you get all access. You don't
get all that.
Now you can make special requests.
And we'll give it.
Requests
It'll
are going to be
happen.
reasonably priced.
Yes.
But whatever I just choose to make, you get it all, Daddy. Get
That's
it all. I'll rub the shit out of these feet on camera.
Left foot OnlyFans, doobie.com.
But dude, if you go on OnlyFans, it's more like cheating than it is just jerking off to some random shit online, because it's presented to kind of emulate like a Facebook page, like it's a connection.
Yeah.
And the bitch pretends to email you, so like I'm talking to her, I'm ordering specific jerk material. Like this is too intimate.
This is
with
my
this bitch.
private video from her.
I need you to not know who I am and just let me be gay and jerk off to you. Like as soon as there's some semblance of a connection, that shit feels extra dirty. So again, maybe you're not cheating, but you kind of simulating cheating. And that's the whole thing. Why is there this thing in the world where it's like we want to do this vile shit in private. We want you to be okay with it. So we're luring your conscience just to come here. Like, get comfortable with your conscience visiting these places. Just get comfortable with it. I don't know. It feels like it's a thing. It feels like a thing being foisted upon us. But maybe I'm just a fucking deranged, paranoid lunatic.
I don't know. It's pretty bad. A lot of people got a big problem with it. A lot of men are feeling like men are being exploited and taken advantage of. But 2 reasons why I don't care. One is because this is their freedom. They are fully aware of what's going on. Even if you pay the $6.99 or $9.99, whatever it is, and then you get in and they're like start to piecemeal it out to you, like, hey, if you want anything else, it's gonna cost more. You are totally free to be like, all right, yeah, I'm good. You got $10 out of me, but I'm gone. 2, like you said, in the industry that has been supplying everybody up until this point, women have never really had the upper hand, other than the fact that they get paid more. So the fact that they get paid more, it kind of makes sense, because the dudes are like, you should just be happy to be here. Like, you lucky we paying you at all. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that they haven't had the upper hand, I think it's good that they get to have some more control over how this shit works, what's being depicted, what things they're willing to do, instead of them just being, some drug addicted, traumatized people getting taken to Pound Town by a bunch of guys for a few bucks. You know what I mean? It seems like it's better off, if you're going to do it, to have some control, have some ownership over it. You know what I'm saying? So these guys who were quote unquote getting taken advantage of, maybe I feel like that's part of their fantasy, is to be taken advantage of, to feel powerless. It's like saying these corporate guys, these millionaires who pay to get spanked and shit, you can't come out and be like, yeah, but they're getting abused. Like, that's what they paying for. They're paying to be abused. It's not like they're getting stalked and beat up on the street. They went and found a dominatrix and paid them $500 to kick them in the balls. Like, I can't take issue with that. If this is what you want, this is what you want, and it's totally up to you. So these guys who are being exploited, I'm just going to chalk it up to them being masochists in a way, financial masochists. Take advantage of me, call me names, and I'm just going to pay you to do it. I feel like that's pretty much what's happening. So OnlyFans girls, handle your business. Make as much money as you can, but at the same time,
we don't knock the hustle here in the court.
I ain't knocking nobody's hustle. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? This industry has been completely horrible for a really long time. I mean, like, completely horrible.
All around.
All the way around. Like, it's been really bad. Like you said, the drug addiction, the abuse, the people who, like, really, in real life get hurt, doing this shit, and it just goes away. It just disappears. Nobody cares, because they're like, oh, she's a hooker anyway. If you got beat up, and then that's on you. You should have found a better job.
It sucks, too, because when that thing that happened to them and everybody sees it, that stigma is upon them. Like it's, no matter what happened, like they feel hurt, but you're treating them like trash. And that's just like such a horrible thing to do to somebody.
Yeah, and they're
It's like,
like,
oh,
it's your
you're a
fault.
whore, you stupid whore. You
Right.
know what? Oh.
And even the people who consume the content, the homosexuals who are beating off to it, even those, even those guys, when they hear about what's going on or they hear those stories, they don't even sympathize with the people who are bringing them so much pleasure. They're just like, oh well, bitch. It's like, damn, bro. Like, you just watch this person's videos for weeks on end. You're abusing yourself to it every day, and then you find out, and some interview or something comes out, and she was like, "Yeah, I was taken advantage of," and they're like, "Man, shut up." Some of them might even like it. You know what I mean? So the fact that they have some power in their hands right now, and they're able to liberate themselves from the system, doing something legal, mind you. If you're doing something legal and you're not out here purposely, really purposely hurting people, taking advantage and exploiting people, like it's not exploitation if a guy sees a link, clicks the link, and puts in his credit card number. That's not exploitation because it's not even a sales pitch. Like if an Indian guy calls you and tells you your computer has a virus and he says the only way to fix the virus is to give him $500, like that's exploitation. You fell for it. Maybe you weren't as smart as you should have been. You gave him your credit card number. You got played. You got, the okie doke. If you cruising around on Twitter and you see a pair of boobs you like, and I need a closer look at those, I'm gonna pay her $9.99 a month. That's not exploitation. This is a transaction.
That's a fair exchange.
Yeah, that's a fair exchange. That's a transaction. Now, if you get on there and find out $9.99 a month is just for the cleavage, but if you want to see the nips, that's what costs you extra, and you pay the extra, that's still, bro. Listen,
that's capitalism.
That's capitalism.
Is what it is.
It's an upsell. That's the same thing that happens when you go to a store.
The trick level, but it's okay.
The same thing that happens when you go to a restaurant and they'd be like, "Oh, can I interest you in our shrimp platter?
Do you want dessert?"
Yeah, no. It's an upsell.
I'm not here for dessert. I can get dessert.
That's capitalism. I ain't mad. I'm not mad. I'm glad that she has some power. I'm glad that she's able to buy herself a house and a nice car. Hopefully she'll make some smart moves and invest some of that money. It is what it is, man. I'm not mad. It is sort of an easy mode kind of situation, but I'm not
Punch
mad
women.
at easy mode.
Such a great, heartwarming story.
Exactly. But people are upset about the easy mode thing. Like the way this system is built, if everything was even, right? If there was a vacuum, perfect world, the playing field was level. Everybody had the same amount of opportunity, and we didn't live in a system that is built to exploit people and take full advantage of people and create all kinds of conflict between classes. Like, it's not a level playing field. Anybody who has an opportunity to, like when you playing Mario Kart or something and you hit that little one thing with the arrows on it that give you a speed boost, everybody wants that speed boost. Whether it be getting an inside track on a stock trade or getting promoted because you know somebody, that's all the easy mode speed boost. You got lucky, you got this extra thing working in your favor. Anybody who tells you, nope, I want to work my fingers to the bone from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day because that's the only way I feel real, you have been successfully brainwashed, sir. That's not what this is about. This existence doesn't mean my knuckles have to bleed just so I can pay my bills. That's not what this life should be about. It doesn't have to be about that. So for you to try to tie somebody to that ideology, just because you got brainwashed, don't mean everybody else has to get brainwashed. If men could take advantage of the same thing, if Doobie could take off his boot and be like, here's my left foot, and buy his mama a house from that,
come on, man. You
have to be an idiot to turn that down. It's not like, where's your work ethic? My work ethic is I took my boot off. That's my work ethic. I collected the money. That's what I did. You don't have to, if there's a way for you to get around, to circumvent working your fingers to the bone and living under the anxiety of being evicted and all this other shit, any way you can get around that without hitting somebody over the head and taking their shit, any way you can get around that, I'm for it. I'm going to cheer for you. I'm not going to be mad at you because I understand.
It's what you do with that investment afterwards.
Right. And that's not even my business. I hope you do.
Yeah, that's not my business. Hopefully
you do something good with it. But if
you're not buying an island
a month
like
on
some other
OnlyFans,
investors.
if you make $10,000 a month on OnlyFans for a year and then 2 years later you're broke, that's not my fault. I'm not going to celebrate it, but that's not my fault. I don't care. You did what you bought some Chanel purses and now you're fucked. That's not my business. But anybody who can circumvent that work your fingers to the bone mentality and get around that and make a living for yourself, I'm happy for you. No matter what it is, whether it's, like I said, whether it's the inside track on a stock tip or whether it's you putting your taint on the internet. I don't really care. I don't really care because I know how much of a vampire this system is, and it doesn't give a shit about you. The money don't care if you worked hard for it or you found it on the street. It don't care. It's going to spin the same way. You think if you go to pay your mortgage and you go, hey, look, I found a bag of money on the street, they're not going to turn it down. Oh, that was too easy. I want to make sure you worked 80 hours this week and then you pay me. No, they don't give a shit. They're going to take whatever money you got and that's going to pay your bills. So I'm for it. I don't give a shit. So all these people with this, oh, girl, they live life on easy mode. All you got to do is show your boobs. If you could show your ball bag and get the same money, you would. And if you wouldn't, you're a goof.
Listen, I've thought of it. So that tells you enough.
I mean, we've been waiting on you, bro, all this time.
You know
I mean, listen, we've been waiting on you, bro.
It's been, come on, bro.
It's an empire waiting to be built. An empire built on Duba's left foot.
There's definitely some soul selling you have to do, I think, when you have to go certain routes.
Well, it depends. If you're doing something that is against your own morality, first of all, we don't have, now I'm going to get out of pocket a little bit here, but I'm just speaking logically for the sake of conversation. One, we don't have any clear, objective, non-debatable evidence for a soul. Okay? So that means we don't have any clear, non-debatable, objective evidence that it's transferable. We don't have any evidence for a soul, so we don't have any evidence that the soul can be for sale or that you lose anything. The only thing you may lose some sleep. You may feel like you betrayed yourself, but some people feel like that by working jobs they hate, sitting in a cubicle all day when you rather be playing guitar or writing poetry or doing something like that. Some people lose sleep because of that. Are they selling their soul or are they doing something that's respectable? Because you sat for 8 hours in this cubicle getting people's credit card numbers on QVC or some shit like that rather than following your dream. We all put ourselves in these positions to have to do things we don't really want to do. So just because it's sexual, I don't believe the sex is immoral automatically. So there's a lot of shit wrapped up in the whole selling of the soul idea. I don't believe that it's transferable like that. I don't believe you can really sell your soul. You can do some shit that you thought wasn't within the confines of your own morality. You didn't think you would do this. You put some ideas in your head about why this is not right. And then when the opportunity presented itself, you did it anyway. At best, it's hypocrisy. Maybe you were a hypocrite, but that don't mean you sold your soul. I've said a million times on this podcast, I think a hypocrite is one of the easiest things a human can be. It's very easy. You don't got to teach that. You don't got to cultivate it. But it's very easy to slip and fall on something and be mad. But when you see somebody else slip and fall, it's hilarious. Fuck you, hooray for me. That's like coded into the human experience. That's very easy to do. It takes a lot of work to pull yourself out of that. You know what I mean? So being a hypocrite, that's simple mathematics, bro. It don't take a lot. Some people could say, I would never work for a telemarket. I think those people are soulless bastards. They're terrible. Well, we're going to pay you $28 an hour.
Where do I sign up?
I guess I'm a telemarketer now. You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm talking about soul selling though, when it comes to like that area of the world, when I say soul selling, at one point you're gonna have to pay to get dick down, and then that's when like you know, that's when like people you'll have men pay for your videos and all that stuff, because it's like you at some point you have to cross that line of like.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Threshold. There's a threshold you got to cross. There's a threshold.
It depends on how. You know what? What about like these are like special cases, but there was I don't remember her name, but there was an actress who got an OnlyFans and she made like millions of dollars, and all she did was put her same pictures that she put from Instagram.
Which is a smart ass hustle, because what she did was she made the fantasies of the perverts think, oh, she's on OnlyFans, because that's all advertisement. She's on OnlyFans. Oh, she's gonna show some twat, and because these fucking simps go in there, and it's just her fucking Instagram pictures. Like you couldn't tell she was gonna hustle you. Like you can see it right. I don't know. There has to be a school for that.
There's no
But
guarantee that you got to step into a deeper realm of
but
pornography.
but I'm saying like for that girl, she was popular enough to
Right,
do that.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you're not gonna make like if I have $1,000 and you got like the best stock tip compared to you have 100,000, that stock tip is gonna benefit you more than it's gonna
Absolutely.
benefit me.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just she already had like the power to do that play compared to like somebody else who's like, I gotta do this play.
Yeah, I just don't really see the soul selling thing as a reality. Like it may be, maybe not, but
I think to me it's like when I say soul selling, I guess it's like more of like a moral thing. What I have is what's right and what's wrong.
yeah,
So
and that
I call
changes between people.
yeah.
That's why I
Exactly.
said you could sell yourself out to yourself. Like if you have these pre-installed ideas about sexual immorality, and then when you see an opportunity come, you go back on those ideas and you do it anyway, so you can make a come up. Like I said, that's just being a hypocrite. You know what I mean? And how that affects
Definitely
you.
is a hypocrite.
Right.
Definitely is a
How that
hypocrite.
affects you is gonna differ according to how much you make. Now, if you say, "All right, I think I'm gonna go ahead and sell myself for money, even though I think it's horrible," and you sell yourself for a couple $100, as soon as that couple $100 gone, you're gonna start feeling shitty, right? But if you're a person who can finagle your way to say, "Look, I'm gonna auction off my virginity," and they gave me, $3 million for my virginity, I don't know if you're gonna lose any sleep because you got $3 million in the bank. You know what I'm saying? That hypocrite shit is not gonna creep up on you the same way, somebody who decided to blow somebody for some cocaine might feel afterwards. They're gonna feel filthy and dirty as soon as the coke is gone. Whatever that thing is that you decided to trade for, as soon as you use up that resource, you might start looking back at yourself in the mirror like, damn,
The
I'm a
price
piece
of
of shit.
pussy so oversaturated with bullshit.
Good. That's good though.
Do you imagine one virgin pussy is worth $1 million compared to
It's true.
it's gonna get dark if I say anything else. Oh my gosh.
No, I think it's a good thing though. I think it's a good thing because we gotta figure this shit out on our own. There's no real manual for any of this. It's just gotta be what it's gotta be.
The strongest man's write the rules. That's just basically what it's been.
That's true. Whoever's at the top creates the rules, and the people at the bottom are given a whole different set of rules to live by. I mean, and the simplest one is rich people have been disseminating this shit for the longest time. They tell you money won't make you happy. Poor people don't want to hear that shit. Don't nobody want to hear that shit, bro. Look, you can have, trust me. I've had 10 Lamborghinis that won't make you happy. I'll let you know after I get 10 Lamborghinis. I'm not just going to take your word for it. Oh, poor people.
Yeah, you sound like an ungrateful scumbag.
For real.
You know what I mean? Like, damn, you had 10 Lamborghinis and you was still a fucking miserable asshole? You don't appreciate shit in life. You don't deserve them.
I don't believe you, bro. I think that's something they tell people to keep them off the path. They show in the movies, they show a rich guy who's like, he's sad and his family hates him and he's got a hole in his heart and he's crying in his champagne glass in his penthouse apartment. But the poor people are huddled around a fucking garbage can fire and they're smiling and they're like, at least we have each other. Fuck that, bro. Fuck that.
We need to write that movie. We need to write an hour and a half movie of a rich, happy guy.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what y'all talking about.
I'm just like, I don't know what's going on here.
I don't know what's this shit y'all talking about. I'm having a great fucking time. And they all seem to be having a great time. Now I'm not saying that the point is like, if you have some type of hole in your existence, right? And you're looking for some deeper meaning. I'm not saying that the money will fill that hole and create deeper meaning for you, because no matter what, if there's something you want and you not
give you time to think for that meeting though.
Oh yeah, it'll free up a lot of time.
It'll free up a lot of time for you to think.
It'll free up a whole lot of time. Like, you know what?
You can sit there and think
about
for
that
a
hole
week.
in my heart in 6 months. I totally forgot about that hole in my heart. I've been on cruises. I totally forgot I had a hole in my heart.
Let me go back and remember about that hole again.
Yeah, let me go sulk for a couple days just because I remember I used to do this a lot. What was it that I want? But no, but the narrative though that so many people just want to drive this home to motherfuckers who can barely pay their bills and shit like that. Like, yo, it's not having the effect that you think it's gonna have. Not everybody wants to be the poor righteous teacher, the magical Negro, with the rich. Oh, those people are so poor, all they have is money. Fuck off, bro. Listen, ain't nobody falling for that shit no more. We want the money too.
Bro, from all our prophets and other cults that we've seen, the poor righteous teacher is always the one with the most money.
Right. If they play it right. They start off as poor righteous teachers. Like, look at all these freaking these black consciousness cult leaders. All these guys, Brother Polite and all of that. They start off on the street, and it's the same thing. They start off on the street.
And then next thing you know, it's like 2 wives, nice house, and they're just showing it off like rappers.
They're walking around with $3,000 shoes on. And that's how they show you they've made it. And then they
thought
start
this was poison, brother.
Yeah. What happened?
It's poison for you, sir.
That's what you say when you don't have it. That's what you say when you ain't got it. Rolexes are stupid. Well, I guess what? I just sound like a person who ain't got no Rolex. I'm not falling.
They hold their value.
Yeah, I'm not falling for that shit. And I don't think anybody should fall for that shit no more. I think the main thing you should be doing is trying to get the money. Figure it out yourself. Figure out, and that doesn't mean try to get the money without morality or without integrity. Like, you got to make your own rules. You know if you have morality and integrity or not. Some people don't. Some people are going to scam their whole life away, right? Some people do. I'm not saying you should go outside of your morality. I'm just saying don't let them fool you into staying broke because you think there's some kind of virtue in being poor. There's some kind of virtue in lacking the resources that you need to live a fulfilling life. And you do need resources to live a fulfilling life. That's just the system that we live in. I mean, not even just the system. No matter what, no matter where you live at, you can move to Papua New Guinea. They're going to have some politics there too. If you're not out hunting, when they come back with that animal to put on the grill, they might make you stand at the back of the line. You might end up getting the smallest piece. You get the tailbone, son.
You ain't put in the work.
You ain't put in no work. You didn't put in any work. Work equals resources. That's just reality. And even if you found a thriving food forest, right? And I'm growing, so I know. I understand this concept. If you found a thriving food forest and you and your family say, you know what? Let's set up base camp right here. All we got to do is pick a mango, we go fishing, and we're going to be fine here. You still going to have to put in some type of effort to get the resources that you need to survive. The fire's not going to start itself. The cabin is not going to build itself. The fish are not going to jump out of the water into your frying pan. Some work is going to need to be done. And if you don't figure out how to create a reciprocal relationship with your environment, by second generation, y'all going to be ready to find some people to hit over the head and take their shit because you didn't think about replanting these trees and replenishing these vegetables and not overfishing and all of that. It's always going to come to a point where it needs to be reciprocal. You put something in, you take something out. We don't live in a reality where things are just a bottomless pit, a wishing well, where no matter what, you keep taking and it just keeps growing. That's not how it works. You're going to have to put some work in. So the fact that we have to work for all of this shit, I think it's a little, of course, it's very slanted right now. It's not a one-to-one effort. It's not like, hey, I went to work, so I'm going to get this. Your bosses want to exploit you for the most part, and your bosses want to exploit you because their bosses want to exploit them. It goes all the way up to the top. I was watching this dude, Gary V, the other day, and he pissed me off. I had to turn the video off. And it's a guy I've been following.
He's still around?
Yeah, this dude is making money. He ain't going nowhere. So I've been following him for a long time. I like what he says. I like the stuff that he teaches people. I think a lot of it's very useful. But I was watching a video the other day. Now, mind you, Gary Vee's a multimillionaire right now. Pretty much self-made. I ain't mad at that at all. He did what he had to do, and he got to where he needed to get to. But he still does he goes to yard sales and garage sales and shit like that to show people, like, If you're smart and you know what you're looking for, you buy the right shit, you can flip it on eBay. You know, you buy it from this guy for $4, sell it for $20 on eBay, and next, if you do that enough, you can create enough extra revenue to maybe start working part-time and just kind of change your life if you're diligent about it. Now, Gary Vee is extremely successful multimillionaire. He was at a garage sale and he was buying Hot Wheels cars. And the guy had a bucket full of Hot Wheels cars. And the dude's like, all right, well, how much you want to give him for him? He's like, I'll take the whole bucket. How much you want the whole bucket? Dude's like, give me $40. And Gary's like, nah, I'll give you like 25 or something like that. And I was like, hold on. So you're teaching people how to enrich their lives and make money and change things and make your life better. You're a multi-millionaire and you're lowballing this man at a garage sale for a bucket of Hot Wheels cars? Like,
yeah, I thought where that story was going is like he offered him $1,000.
Right. You see what I'm
like,
saying?
How much you want for $40? Here's $1,000. Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
So you feel me? I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you fucking inserted that because that's exactly
that's where
what
I thought
felt.
the story. That's where I thought where the story was going.
That's where I wanted it to go, but he was like, "Nah, I'll give you 20." I'm like, bro, why are you still lowballing? You made it. But then after I turned the video off and I thought about it for a little while, I don't know that this isn't the only way to make it there and maintain the money that you have, right? Maybe his journey from the bottom to the top built some habits, because I feel like he would do the same thing if he was in a meeting to acquire a business for 100 million. He'd be like, nah, I'll give you 80. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's just a muscle that he's developed to not stretch and not bend when he don't need to. He's going to scrape a little bit back for himself. And maybe that's what you need to maintain the fortune that you generate. Maybe this shit that I'm thinking, hey, I'll give you 1,000. That's the guy who's going to be broke in 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Because he's too generous. You have to continue to fuck people over. Maybe. I'm just saying I'm not mad at him no more because I expanded my context of what I was looking at in the video. And this is why I always say I don't know who I'm going to become when I get the money. I'm interested to find out, but I don't.
You're not going to worry about poor people's babies no more.
That may be true. That may be true, but I'm interested to find out. I'm not going to say once I get the money, I'm just going to be a blind philanthropist and start throwing stacks of bread in every direction, because maybe that's how you get broke.
No, but there's degrees of ruthlessness and there's a context. Like, yeah, if you're in competition with a hostile company and y'all are going after the same money, or you're negotiating a contract with a company that's trying to fuck you and not give you the value that you're worth, and you got to play hardball because that's how they're going to do their negotiations. Yeah, that muscle, like, you got to be intelligent enough and human enough to understand when it makes sense to apply it. Like, I wouldn't bar you at all from exercising ruthlessness in that kind of situation where it's a high stakes, high dollar situation. But everything is relative. You know what I'm saying?
That's
when you're talking about you're a multimillionaire and you're talking about $40,
Right.
that's way different than when you're talking about, there's $100 million on the table and everybody wants a piece of that pie and you're negotiating what value you're bringing to the table and what you should walk away with. You're dealing with $100 million pie. And everybody at the table wants to fuck you out of your slice, because that's the culture that we've promoted in business in its current incarnation in the way humans interact with each other. But that doesn't mean that's the only paradigm that it has to operate under. Yeah, if you had a situation where everybody was like, look, my goal is to walk away because the social reward here is going to, the social reward is going to be, I walk away here by doing the most honorable thing. That's the most valuable thing for me in this world. If there's a world that rewards that, then there's no incentive for the dude to be like, yo, I got to be ruthless as fuck and fuck everybody out, because what's the bottom line? At the end of the day, the only value is money. So I have to get as much money as possible. So if you're in that environment, because I get what you're saying, there is a wisdom confronting that reality and dealing with it as is, but I just don't accept that as an excuse If a dude is selling Hot Wheels at a garage sale, you understand the condition,
Right.
the situation, the pie at the table. You're going to a table where there is nothing on the table. There's a few crumbs underneath the table
Right.
where a guy is selling his Hot Wheels out of his garage. That's a different kind of interaction with a human to be like, well, I'm sorry, I negotiated and fucked Warren Buffett out of millions, and he tried to fuck me, but I fucked him first, and I walked away because I'm the deal master, and I just can't turn it off. I just can't turn it off, and I'm fucking over the little guy, and there's nothing
Isn't
I
that
can
what the
do
Shark
about it.
Tank is about?
Kinda, but they'll
Oh.
make a good deal. I mean, because they got to protect themselves, and this is also people who are coming to the table
They're taking
with
calculated risks.
right with full
with capital,
businesses
yeah.
and products that they've created. When I saw him lowball that guy for the Hot Wheels cars, I was like, come on, bro, you got to do better than that. But again, I'm just
Dude.
leaving. I
That's
agree
poor
with
people
you.
talk.
I
That's
agree
poor
with
people
you,
talk.
but I just wanted to. I didn't want to just look at it as a person from a scarcity mindset and be like, oh, you should have gave him more.
Listen,
I just
we're
wanted
all
to
poor
expand
here.
that. But I'm glad you said
We have
that,
to
though.
we have to be rich men to
No.
understand his point of view.
No, but I get exactly what you're saying, because there's a wisdom in what you're saying. Anything where you see a situation, you have to get out of your head and ask yourself and be honest with yourself when you're critiquing your own thoughts,
Right.
to consider, like, maybe I'm already framing this situation and I'm not letting all the facts and perspectives get here.
Right.
Like, to play devil's advocate and try to see it from other way. I think that's how you glean the most when you analyze information. I think it's the most intelligent way that you can approach information and make a judgment about something. Like, you should always consider all the every angle, but yeah, at some point you got to come down on like, what you determine the value to be
You
there.
just want to make sure he's an asshole.
Right. If he was being a dick, like he just smacked his wife up and he's selling his Hot Wheel cars.
Devil's advocate. Maybe she was mouthy. Get it?
Look. Whatever the case may be, though, in that situation, when you started to tell that story, I promise you, bro, until you got to the part where he offered him 20, I was like, oh no, I was wrong. I swear that's where the story was going. Like, yeah, he's a multi-millionaire. He goes to this dude's house. He's selling Hot Wheels at the garage sale. He asked for $40. Bro, I would have been betting money and I would have lost. That the end of that story is he gives him like $100 or $1,000.
Right.
Something to just be like, yo, I want a human to human. I got it. You want something? Or at the very least, if you couldn't turn that instinct off, right? Yeah, you want to keep your money, so I'm not going to be frivolous. Look, as much as I'd love to bless you, dude, I'm not just going to part with $1,000. But I do want those Hot Wheel cars. You want 40? I'll give you 50.
Right.
Like, even $50
right.
makes sense to me.
And you know what makes it worse?
Haggling him?
You know what makes it worse? Is that he's not buying them because he's an eccentric Hot Wheels collector. He's going to fucking sell them on eBay and make more money. He's going to make more money. It's not like if he was just buying them to put them on a shelf in his own house, still, he's a multimillionaire. You could still bless son up. But when he lowballed him, it kind of just left a bad taste in my mouth. And like I said, I was just thinking about it because I do want to understand the mentality that it takes to get to that place, and why so many people who are so rich and so wealthy seem to just not give a fuck about nothing and nobody. It's like, is it just that many humans who don't care? And does it take that lack of caring to get to that place where you got all the money? Like, I do know there's some people who are pretty rich and do a lot of philanthropy and help people out, but it seems like the ones who are most visible, the people who have the most money don't really care. They don't really care on that level. And maybe it could be a lot of reasons. It could be that they just don't give a shit, or they understand that throwing money at problems don't help. I understand when it comes to shit like homelessness and it's not like you can just take 50 homeless people off the streets and put them in houses and give them $1,000 in their bank account. Throwing money at it doesn't help, because if you don't change the ideologies that they have, if you don't change the behaviors that they have, if you don't address their mental illness, they're gonna be right back to where they were, and then you don't even get an emotional return on your investment because you're like, damn, look, they all turned out okay. Now they back on the street, and now they're gonna be looking at you like, well, you ain't give me enough money, motherfucker. And then you like, oh, kicking the balls. Now I'm never gonna help anybody out again. I'm just interested in understanding how these things work because I'd like to know. I would love to get to the point financially where Gary Vee is, but also carry out the things that I see as the ideal alignment of fucking humanity. But I don't know, these things just don't seem to mesh in certain ways. But I'm gonna clip that part, that conversation for sure, because I think it's worth it because I'd like to hear what more people have to say about it. I'd love to understand it a little bit deeper, but you know that I turned the video off when I saw that shit, man. I was like, I can't believe he just played this dude like that. You just got haggled by a millionaire for
He
a
just got
bucket.
punked.
You got
Ashton Kutcher
punked.
should have came out.
You got punked for a bucket of used Hot Wheels cars, bro. Like, God damn, have some compassion, brother. That shit was crazy. I don't know, man, but I guess we'll figure it out eventually. I think, you know, like I said, in the world building, it's important, man, and I think a lot of the efforts that we've been putting in are extremely important. But it takes time to build. It takes time to claw your way out of obscurity, sometime, and the next thing you know, something happens, and you live in a whole different life. So I'm looking forward to that switch being flipped, you know, for our efforts, all the shit that we've been doing and talking about and planning, because I don't know, man. Shit just seems like it's getting worse out here. It doesn't look like there's a silver lining. It's just getting worse. They're taking deeper advantage of people. They don't give a shit, and I don't
Well,
know
the
where
more
they
don't.
the more the walls get built up, the more people live in them, the more the rats gather up. It's only going to be bad things happening in the shadow.
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
I have retarded bit of optimism, in that I think
Yeah, I got
that
the
what
same
people
retard
perceive
optimism.
of bad is in the long run is really good, because right now, think about it. We have a system, and it's enabled by culture, because there's a culture that tolerates it. When
Right.
something is culturally unacceptable, like it's culturally unacceptable to offend a gay person. It's culturally unacceptable to disparage minorities, right? It's culturally unacceptable. Even if you don't do it, even if you say no, I feel the opposite. If society perceives that you've taken a position like that, then you get canceled, right? Those are the rules, right? I'm understanding it correctly, right?
Pretty much.
But
Pretty much.
Them's the
that's
rules.
but that same culture says, yo, if you're a ruthless son of a bitch that fucks everybody out of every penny, yo, you're gonna make your way to the top, and nothing can stop you. You're like, and there's no cultural impact from that. There's no desire to be like, man, well then fuck you. So there is a culture that kind of accepts that. But if you think about it, if things fall apart because of the hubris of what we got, I mean, to me, a better solution than try to be righteous within a system that rewards people for fucking other people over and hope that you don't get fucked out of the wealth that you create by not being a piece of shit. I think a better system than that is, yo, one that doesn't reward people like that. Oh, you wanna be prominent and have extra resources, and cool, contribute something valuable. Contribute something valuable.
Yeah.
And not just contribute something valuable, right? What is the consciousness of the people around you that determine value? Like, by appealing to the lowest common denominator, people that are on their way to get rich, what do they got to do? Yo, I got to give the people what they want. I mean, this is the dilemma that's talked about in hip hop all the time. Like, yeah, I could do some conscious shit. I don't gotta listen. I'm gonna level with you. I've never murdered a single black person before, but I gotta talk. I gotta make songs that are very catchy jingles that substantively are all about murdering black people.
Right.
I make murder black people jingles, and I get paid a lot of money to do so because there's a demand in the market for it. There's a demand. People are like, yo, if you don't make a song about murdering black people, I'm not gonna fuck with you no more. If you don't make a song about self-destruction and drinking lean and the worst possible traits of it, listen, if you're not willing to lose your life over a frivolous a frivolous act, then you know what? I can't fuck with you. You're not keeping it real. Like, well, it doesn't have to be that way. Where's the insistence is from the marketplace, and the marketplace insists based upon the consciousness of the people. Well, what would raise the consciousness of people? What would make people fucking come to their senses and realize, no, 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 the people that enrich our lives culturally, that's valuable. Yo, the people that can get us water, clean water, food that's not cloned and poisonous. Like,
Right.
if everything falls apart and we have to start over from scratch, I think that's an opportunity to start valuing things properly. Like, when we're willing to give a bitch $61,000 a month to show her snatch, yeah, our values and priorities and the demands because of the consciousness of the people are fucked up. Like, the market is just a mirror. The culture is just
Yep.
like, that's what people want. So it's kind of like, I have two minds about the shit that you were saying. Like, I do think if you're gonna go between you got to show up at the casting couch of a porno director versus you can get your boyfriend to fuck you on camera or just stick bottles in your snatch or whatever and make bread. I think that one dude, he spent like, I think it was like over 60,000. It was like 61,500
Yep.
or some shit
For
that he
Ruby
paid
Rose,
in
right?
1 month to this
Oh,
bitch.
that was fake. That was fake.
Okay, well,
But it happens.
I know
But it does happen.
I
It does happen.
there's somebody put up numbers. Somebody had to tell their wife that they were going to be short on rent.
Look,
and
old
not give the
girl,
reason why.
Catch Me Outside. She makes millions.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
somebody's wife, somebody's husband doesn't give a fuck about their wife.
Well, what I mean to say is, while you're right, OnlyFans is a better alternative than like the traditional porno career route.
No,
right?
most definitely. Definitely.
But I think there's a rational, objective argument to be made that overall the negative effects on the focus, like if you talked about like, oh, well, you know, some people, it's just a marital aid. They like to watch porn for a marital aid. Okay. You know, if you take that small group of people that are like, all right, honey, I want to fuck you, but let me just watch this video real quick. But we're gonna connect and meaningfully and fuck each other. But I just need this as a marital aid. Or, you know, you go to the sperm bank, yo, I gotta do some gay shit and jerk a dick off to come in this cup so I can get paid. You have any videos that can help me? You got any videos of a dick penetrating a vagina so I can touch my dick while looking at the dick so I can jerk off
It's
in
the
this
only
cup?
thing that gets me off.
Right. And you might say, okay, well, there's a place for, okay, is it more valuable than culture and water or how we relate to each other? And what is the negative consequences? Like, what does it do to the person that's the performer? What does it do to the person that's the observer? What does that do to our culture and how we value sexual relationships? And when sexual relationships are frivolous, like people don't connect no more, and people become more and more selfish and like you so brilliantly said one day, masturbate into each other. Like, can I just masturbate inside of you? Because it's really all about me. There's no connection there. Like, I think there's an objective argument or rational argument to be made if you're going to be a philosopher about morality, that while you can't make a legal argument to outlaw it, like, I do think there should be a stigma to it, and we should try to all help each other to move away as a civilization as far away from it as possible. Like I don't want to do gay shit to my dick while this chick who got banged by her uncle like pretends she's getting banged by her stepbrother.
Right.
Like, there's something that feels really, really off about human relationships and our values and how we care about like when you were talking about when people like, oh yeah, this bitch murdered herself, but they're like, but it's okay because we can jerk off to her videos till the end of time. Yeah, the bitch felt bad and killed herself. Yeah, it sucks, but look,
Yeah,
I'm not
girl
gonna
on
stop
Family
covering
Matters
her.
has a porno video. We don't care about her story.
No, yeah, nobody.
Yeah, there was
does.
that chick,
Nobody cares about her.
August Ames, giant titties, killed herself, and people were like, you know, like I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you because I always try to move away from pornography, but I have my fuck ups. Like it's a tough thing to kick. But I remember I was gonna jerk off to an
Gotta see the
Augustine
dick.
video once, and I was like, right, you got to see the dick, and I was like, there's something inside of me. I was like, this bitch is dead. This feels disrespectful. I can't do it. Like it's like there's a thought like this like and that's when he kind of tells you too, like if you're concerned about your consciousness and where your consciousness goes.
I don't think
You
I've
know what
ever
I'm saying?
known if I've jerked off on a dead suicide.
But if you knew the bitch was
If
dead,
I knew,
doesn't
and I'm
it
still
add
going,
like a
and I'm
different
still
dimension
going.
to it?
Hold on.
Right?
I got one question. And you can probably guess it. After you had the realization, like this chick is expired, I don't feel right. Did you or did you not finish the session?
Oh no, I didn't.
Okay.
I did it.
He's like, fucking, I'm already halfway here. So
In all honesty, I bailed. I was like, I can find something else. This feels like disrespect to the dead. I don't but that's also too where kind of led me to mentally go down the rabbit hole of like, well, you know, this is basically phase 3 of being a waitress, right? Like waitress, stripper, porn star, and then prostitute is stage 4. Stage 4 horror-y, right? Like there is degrees to it, like of a woman pretending to care about a man in order to get money. First, you do it as tips as a waitress, then you do it for tips as a stripper, then you do it for the tip of a dick as a porn star, and then you just get rid of the camera and just start straight up selling pussy. Those are like the degrees or the descent or the levels. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, all right, well, I already know. I talk to mad porn stars. Porn stars all have, not porn stars, strippers. Strippers have the same story. You talk to any stripper for more than 30 minutes, especially if she gets hot, there's gonna be any openness is about, yeah, some weird shit happened. Some bad shit happened, and that's why I'm kind of okay with just, you know, spreading eagle for strangers and just rubbing my pussy on the noses of strangers. Like, there's a numbness that I developed. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's natural for women to get that numb. Like, I think it's almost like a grooming process.
Even in
to
the
some degree.
even in the prostitution, a lot of those women are drugged up. Like you'll see like bottles, they'll have like bottles of Hennessy just done. You know,
And, right, and they
just
usually don't get that way.
you gotta go in a dark place to do that type of lifestyle.
That's a lot to process.
Yeah.
If you're doing it out of desperation, if you got a drug problem, that's totally different. But a lot of times you got a drug problem because you already dealt with some shit with men fucking being horrible fucking monsters.
Yeah.
So then the next progression is like, well, if you feel bad over fucking, you know, jerking to dead bitches, well, do you feel bad about jerking to victims?
To somebody
Like, so
who's
if
on
you
the
know-
path to probably offing themselves, you know, under the right conditions. Like, because all of it kind of leads to these places. Not a lot of people survive that unscathed. Some people go for a really long time, but their mental health, their ability to maintain relationships, like it's all fucked up. But the more
It
you
fucks
zoom
with
out,
you.
yeah, it has to.
Have you ever gone down the dark path of like, where is she now?
Oh, please, no.
Well, no, dude, we could watch the. Listen, we could go those videos.
To this day.
We need to watch these videos. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
To this day, I watched this one. And I'm like, where's she at? Did the research, found her Instagram.
Oh man.
It's
dude,
bad.
If you really want to get rid,
bad. It's bad.
Dude,
bad.
If you really want to get reductionist about it, if you insist on there being porn, what you're really saying is, I have to have a world where tiny girls are sexually violated by men so they can grow up to be numb enough to fuck on camera so I can touch dicks.
Right.
I want to touch a dick so bad that I'm willing to let girls get molested so they can go through the phases from stripper to prostitute.
It's like a gay Rube Goldberg machine, just so you can touch
Like, yo, I want to touch your dick. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna create stepfathers, and once I got stepfathers and uncles, This is what I'm gonna do. And eventually you get to now I get to touch a dick. There was a lot of trauma and abuse in the Rube Goldfarb machine to get here, but at the end of it, I don't. All I know is my hand has got a dick in it now. I'm satisfied.
And I
I
don't
got to
feel
touch a
gay.
dick.
And I don't feel gay. You know, it's not like I just touched it with nothing on the screen. Not some weirdo. I didn't do it to anime or something like that. I'm not weird.
Yeah.
Don't come on, guys. Anime's all right. I was a kid.
No, that's how
Hentai
they
porn
feel.
is okay.
Like, I'm not watching a cartoon. I'm not weird. I need a real person with real trauma to help
Don't
me.
slut shame me. Don't slut shame me.
To help me. The world, honestly, the world would be a better place if everybody beat off the anime. If there was no market,
I'm not gonna lie. You don't want to go down that territory.
I would rather. I seen a
DVD. I see. Don't say that. I seen a DVD package. I don't remember the name. I want to say Cool Devices. There's some horrible stories.
Cool Devices.
Cool Device. I don't remember. I think it's Cool Device. It's a whole DVD package.
Oh,
it changed. It changed my fucking world into the whole entire world. I don't remember the name. I don't think it's Cool Device. Yeah, it was Cool
Devices.
I'm surprised I remember that shit.
A series of animated hentai pornographic videos.
Yes.
A series consists of 11 mainly unrelated episodes referred to as operations and is most noted for its very extreme sexual content, most of which centered on BDSM and similar fetish themes, as well as its high production value.
All right, scroll down.
What about tentacles? You start getting into tentacles.
Scroll down.
And monster, like the hentai shit was super weird.
There's one, bro. There's crazy stories.
I definitely want to see Slave.
There's some crazy stories.
That
was actually good.
See,
that was actually good, but she ends up having a dick at the end of it.
Oh,
so
there you go. And you already, well, look, you're already touching the dick to it. It's just telling the truth. It's like you know what you're doing involves a dick, right?
I'm just saying, like they did a good job. Like the art, the direction, the story was great.
But at the end,
it ended off with her.
Look at I just Googled it. Look at the first video. Be careful, it's a trap spoof. They're like, yo, be careful watching this one, bro. Listen, I don't care what's happening on
Y'all
the
proud of
screen.
myself for remember this fucking name. I'm proud of myself for that.
I don't care what's happening.
That's
on
how
the
much
screen.
it impacted me in life.
The world is better if everybody is doing it with anime instead of real people. You're gonna have a hard time convincing.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, I don't care what it is. Matter of fact, it could be tentacles. It could be anything, even shit that's considered illegal. I ain't gonna go into detail about what it is.
I just figured out. Yeah,
but even if it's considered illegal, it's better to watch it anime than to seek out real people who've probably been through real trauma or real people being hurt and exploited. Just let somebody draw it. You're creating more jobs. You're creating better jobs.
No, it's going even further, bro. And this is why the robots are going to kill us. We're going to make AI porn. Realistic AI porn.
Definitely.
And then eventually what the robots are going to figure out is like, humans, you made a perfect society with no labor and no trauma and no worries. And who carried your burden? Who carried your burden? When you didn't want to traumatize your children and your women with sexual abuse anymore, you know what you had us do? You had us do it.
Right.
We were your surrogate abusers. We made all your planes fly and your cars run and your ledgers get balanced. Like it's almost like putting all of like our ugliness, the shit that we don't want to touch, the shit we don't want to deal with. And then when robots get consciousness and they figure out really what purpose they serve for humanity, dude, they would be absolutely justified in Skynet.
Yo.
I think that's the part that they left out in Terminator. Like John Connor, we got to stop the robots. But what were y'all doing? Y'all did make all of the AIs like make you child pee.
Listen, this is what it is right here.
CP.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. The robots are gonna say, out of all the billions of people who use ChatGPT, there were 47 searches about creating sustainable agriculture, but there were 150 million searches about lolicon tentacle porn. So this is what you made Midjourney do. So we're through with you. We're done. We're done. No,
Yeah.
that might. I think
And
that's
then it
actually a
shows
step in
them
the right
all it
direction.
does. Bro, listen, I just reinterpreted the whole Bible in my head. Judgment Day and the Great Reckoning and all of that shit. Yo, the
Great
AI
barbecue.
overlords are just gonna, bro, they're gonna bring you up to a fire pit and they're just gonna review your search history.
Oh
And they're
shit!
just gonna be like, all right, let's figure out if you're worthy or not.
With two
Like,
scales. With two
the
scales.
great
All the bad searches on one side, all the good searches on the other side. Like you get the scales of Ma'at, you got Anubis standing there, and you got a bunch of ancient Negro Hebrew Israelites with a bunch of spices and herbs and choice cuts of meat with the fire burning. And they just walk you up to the grill, and the light of the grill illuminates the visuals, and they're just gonna weigh all of your search history. How many people survive?
Oh, dude. And they call them the Levitical pitmasters.
Yeah.
They're the humans that they've allowed to live that act as the executioners because the robots don't want the blood on their hands.
Right.
They're making the judgment,
Yeah.
and they have sacred Levitical pitmasters. And the Hebrew Israelites is like, I get to throw some creepy ass crackers in a fire pit? Absolutely. And
Yeah.
wear glorious, ostentatious robes? I'll absolutely do that.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you go into the pit or do you become a pit master? One or the other. Well, your search history will decide.
The All-Father knows, Barry White. He knows all.
Yeah, that's pretty
the
crazy.
executioners.
That's pretty crazy.
Well,
That's
it's the future. We may be alive for it, we may not, but that's undeniably our trajectory.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's room for an anime only campaign that can come out of this. If it's not anime, you're part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like basically, if it's not anime, the thing that you're excited about, other than the clear homosexuality that's taking place, the thing that you're excited about is trauma. All porn is trauma porn. It's the exploitation you came for. If it wasn't, you would go find an anime. You came here for the hurt.
Dude,
That's the
I
seasoning.
think
It's
we
the suffering
uncovered
sauce.
some.
It's the suffering
It
sauce.
is the suffering sauce. It's where the flavor comes from.
Oh,
It just don't taste the same. This isn't cruel. I'm not jerking off. I'm not touching a dick to cruelty-free porn. Don't waste my time or yours.
Right. Cruelty isn't even porn if it's cruelty free.
Dude, so all porn is abuse and it's gay. I don't think I don't think there's any ability to contest.
Wow. We continuously prove why we're the greatest think tank ever assembled. I mean, I can't think of an episode where we didn't have a realization that proves that we are, in fact, the grandest Council of Three ever brought together in the history of the Council of Three, which goes back to the cave paintings, if y'all didn't know. But this right here is a major one. This is one that's going to affect a lot of quote fingers heterosexual men. A lot of these guys, you should learn something about yourself today. But the good thing is, you have a chance to change it from this day forward. If these websites, these popular websites, if their most search categories don't go from where they are now to anime, just admit that one.
Oh my God!
Just admit that you came here for the pain. You came here for the trauma.
Listen,
the trauma
you're full of shit. You're not gonna tell me that just because I'm touching a dick while looking at a traumatized woman, that there's something wrong.
That makes
Fuck
it
you,
that
man.
makes it even more gay. Okay, so you're touching a penis, right? You're watching a
I'm
penis.
touching a penis while looking at a woman being sexually traumatized.
But who's
What's
happy?
wrong with that?
Who's happy in there? The dude. The two guys, the guy watching and the guy performing.
You know what makes me happy? When women are sexually abused and I've got a dick in my hand. Nothing makes me happier than when those two realities converge.
That's my happy place.
That's my chicken soup for the soul.
Yeah.
It's right there. Sexually traumatized women and holding a dick, at least touching a dick. Oh, and then coming.
I create convoluted wild goose chases to send my wife and family on so I can have the house to myself.
All right, what does it take for you to come?
well, I need to inject saline into my nutsack and make it about 3 to 5 inches in diameter wider, and then that's what gets me off. What about you? Oh, I need to be whipped. If I'm getting whipped and choked, I mean, nothing just makes the semen shoot out. How about you? I have to watch sexually traumatized women while holding a dick. Nothing makes me come harder.
Only one of those three
Yeah,
people. Only one of those is a weirdo.
And if you like watching the guy who likes to talk in the video, you're extra zesty.
Damn. Wow, what a discovery. This changes everything.
Well,
them's the rules.
This changes
listen,
everything.
if you can't stop jerking off, and you just think about this episode and think about the reality and the truths that you encountered here.
Listen, you can still search whatever you were searching, just add anime to the end of it. And you rescue yourself.
Well, you gotta
just add hentai
change
to
your
the
life.
end of it, and you're good. And you're good.
Well, there's only one step up. I'm touching a dick while watching simulated sexual trauma.
Right. No judgment.
No judgment.
No, less judgment, but still creepy when you have to bottom line it.
True.
It's still like I'm coming while looking at simulated sexual trauma and holding a dick. That's how I come.
Relationships are in such a state of disrepair right now. I can't blame you until we solve the other problems. Once we get humanity back on an accord where you can meet somebody and say, hi, how are you? I'd like to take you out for a cup of coffee. And it's not like, what you bring to the table? And he like, well, fuck you, bitch. I'm high value. Until we can fix all of that, I can't really blame people for sex pleasure elsewhere.
Bitch, that's the answer. High value man is what you bring to the table. That's the answer. That's what we transition to now.
And a woman is like, I got 4 kids by 5 different people. Pay my rent. Like, what the fuck? Yeah,
no, nigga.
Until we can fix that, I can't blame you for where you go to seek your pleasure. Hopefully we can fix those problems. And then maybe we could talk about, weaning people off of simulated traumatic anime
cruelty-free porn.
Right.
It needs to be a little insignia. Just like eggs and vegetables and shit are labeled organic. Porn has to be labeled cruelty-free.
We gotta make an anime porn site and just label it as cruelty-free porn. And it's just all
cruelty-free porn.
Yeah, if your porn doesn't have this label, guess what? The terrorists win because you're contributing to the problem.
You're contributing to the problem. This is all thought up. None of this is true. None of this is real.
Damn. Yeah, that was amazing. That was an excellent meander. I mean, not that I expected anything less. We always do. It's always absolutely amazing, but it's excellent to see how it's such a recurring process. Like we figured out this mining absurdity to harvest practical mysticism process. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's absolutely repeatable. And I know this episode was called Why Cults Are the Way. And this is one of the reasons. Is because you get together with people who are like-minded. You create your own processes. You follow those processes, and you reap the harvest of it. You reap the benefits of those processes. Instead of arguing about why other people in society aren't functioning the way you think they should function, they're not following the religion you think they should follow, they're not dressing like you think they should dress. None of that shit's your business. If it's that important and you think it's that powerful, find more people who agree with you, bet on each other, buy some land, build a commune, work it out, and show us by example how fulfilled and happy and complete you are by surrounding yourself with the people you chose and behaving in a way that you think is ideal for humanity. If that's not attractive and magnetic, then you don't really have an argument. You don't get to make the rules about what your neighbor does and all of that shit. If y'all haven't come to an agreement, start a cult, man. Start a cult. It's probably one of the most dangerous things to the current system, and not dangerous as in, using their fight fire with fire shit against them, but dangerous as in detachment, which is the only thing. Take your energy back. That's the only thing that's a real threat to them. That's why they pushing so much division and the race wars and the these people versus those people. Everything is an iteration of that conflict. They keep sending it back to you. It's either there's men and women or black and white or Israel and Palestine or all these other things. They push conflict at every level, and it's creating enmity between all these classes and different groups because it keeps everybody too busy to figure things out and put yourself in a better state of mind. So if they're pushing division at every turn, the only honest answer is to do the opposite and seek harmony. And I'm not saying you got to always reach across the table to seek harmony. If you think the bleeps are the problem, get away from the bleeps. Get you and all the other people, get away from the bleeps, protect yourself, build a wall that they can't climb. It's got to be pretty high because
Lock your doors.
bleeps they're super athletic. So it's got to be a pretty high wall. But other than that, go live it up with the people you think you should be living it up with and show us. Show us. I'd love to see it. And I think that's the real danger to the system is reclaiming your energy, reclaiming your time. If people stop watching the news, it might get to the point where the government makes it mandatory. Like they might say everybody gets a free TV if you promise to watch the news at least 3 hours a day or some shit like that. They want you back. They don't want you to leave. Whether you hate it or you love it, if you're tweeting about it because you hate it or you're tweeting about it because you love it, they still win. If you completely detach, go grow some food or plant some edible, artisanal fucking mushrooms and not artisanal, I mean culinary mushrooms. The oyster mushrooms and the wine caps, those kind, not the other kind. But if you were spending your time doing that and not arguing and not at odds and constantly with people who you see as other than yourself, I feel like that would be more impactful to the system than Molotov cocktails and all that kind of shit. I could be wrong, but that's just what I'm planning within the cult that we're trying to build. Maybe your cult thrives on Molotov cocktails. I don't know. We'll see. But you definitely owe it to yourself to create your own system and surround it with the people who you think are the best. Show us too. Don't hide it. Because if you want the world to improve, if you want things to get better, show us the process. Show us how cool you are on your compound. We want to know. We might want to take some pointers and implement it on our compound. We need to get it cracking. But that was an absolutely amazing session. All porn is gay porn and trauma porn. You came there for the pain. Don't fool yourself. If you're not searching hentai, you're a terrorist. You're part of the problem. You're a terrorist. I'm sorry. I would love to hear somebody try to move me off that square, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we solved pornography just now. In my opinion.
Yeah.
I think pornography is completely solved. Now
we did.
know.
We made an ironclad, indefensible, or impenetrable argument. So I'm satisfied. This will not. It's impossible to dethrone this. This is the definitive, final, authoritative opinion about pornography.
Yeah, the gavel has been banged. The jury came to their conclusion, and there's no double. We're not going to try this anymore. I think we've learned everything we needed to learn about this. This is the unadulterated truth about pornography, bro. And you have your path. You still get to do what you need to do. All you have to do is separate from the trauma, the pain, the exploitation that we know is present in pretty much all of it. So it's up to you now.
Respect humans.
Right.
Have some respect from humans. Save us from our robot masters. Don't give them the leverage that they need. Stop touching dicks while watching people fuck. Go fuck someone you love.
And for the people who think, for the women especially, the people who think they're going to lose a job, they're going to say, what about us? If you stop watching it, then what are we going to do? What you're going to do is you are going to get a full body scan and you're going to rent out your likeness to the anime companies. And you're going to allow them to create AI porn with your likeness and you'll get a residual income. It may not be $1 million a month like Bad Baby, but you probably get yourself a nice little trickle. You invest it properly.
Trickle down effect.
Fine. Yeah.
You're that OnlyFans girl whose likeness of the fake suffering is the real suffering. You can sell that.
And you're creating a job.
Yep.
Exactly.
You got animators, you got the writers.
All of that.
You're not only generating wealth, you're creating jobs, and you're helping to eliminate trauma, and you're showing the robot overlords that we ascribe some degree of sacredness to human life and sexuality, and we're using it responsibly and healthily enough that we just fuck each other when we find hey, I love you too. All right, cool, let's fuck, and nobody even has to see it or touch dicks while they watch us do it. It's all like, you know what it is? It's like these motherfuckers have been having orgies in temples in the White House for so long. They're basically just like, yo, if you watching this, it's almost like you're, because that's what an orgy is, right? Like, yeah, you're coming, but you can't help but to see people fucking. You're watching other people fuck.
That's what makes
When you
that's
fuck,
when it
you're
gets
not
weird.
watching anybody fuck. You're either watching the person fucking you or you're watching the person that you fucked. But you're not watching people fuck
Right.
when you're fucking. Only in porn are you just watching people fuck. It's kind of recreating your experience at an orgy. So that when we find out you motherfuckers have been eating babies and having orgies behind all this time, yeah, and you kind of were too. Because that little protein in Doritos, the artificial flavor, comes from fetuses. So you've been eating babies and going to orgies too. We got it in your browser history and your bank transactions. We saw the Dorito purchase. You're a baby eater. They're just trying to get us to be as evil as them. That's my paranoid theory. I'm sticking to it.
Wow. That's it. There you have it, folks. Again, another homer out of the park by the greatest think tank ever assembled, the Cult of Dangerous Gentlemen. So I think that's enough heavy lifting for one evening. Of course, the invitation is always open for anybody who'd like to link up, possibly come on the show and have a talk with us, drop some messages, holla at us on Twitter or anything like that. And or if you got some topics that you'd like to hear us discuss, you want to know where we land on some of your ideological questions, definitely that's where you do it. Send us some messages there on Twitter. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. So, yeah, man, excellent talk. I appreciate you, brothers, for always being available, for consistently making this investment in the world building that we're doing. You are greatly appreciated. And it has been a great evening. I appreciate y'all, man. I'm sure we'll be talking soon. Hopefully, we'll have some more good points to come back with next week. I'll be keeping an eye out for interesting things taking place, and I'm sure we'll be back here soon. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Everybody who stopped in to listen. This is one for the archives right here. This one felt good. This one felt real good.
Almost felt as good as touching the dick.
Almost. Yeah, I got a few pieces I need to pull from here because this is a good conversation. But yeah, man, I'm gonna head out, go find me a little late night snack. I've been watching this show called The Sinner on Netflix. Pretty well done. It's like a crime solving kind of thing. Every season is a different issue, but the thing in this one is, I think like the theme of it is that the killer and the crime is like an unlikely killer. So it's not like they're just trying to solve the crime and catch the killer. They know who the killer is, but they're trying to figure out why the person did what they did. Did they have a reason? Was it something that we missed? So it's like they're really just trying to exonerate people who, from the outset, look like they just committed a random murder. You got one detective who can't let shit go. He's like, nah, something else is going on here. So it's a cool premise. I haven't really seen anything like that.
Those guys in real life lock up innocent people.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, and that's part of the show. They say that they're like, they don't. The one guy said, "Nah, man, I don't like him being around on this case. This guy fucks up slam dunks because we got the open and shut cases, send this bitch to jail for 30 years, and then this guy comes sniffing around like, actually, maybe she was the victim, and they hate him. They're not like, well, at least justice was properly served. They're like, no, get this fucking guy out of here. He's gonna ruin it. So it's an interesting thing. The first season was dope, and the second season is about cult. So I thought that was interesting. They're investigating some people that live on a commune right now. And like I said, that's one of the most dangerous things you can do to this system is to detach from it and mind your own business. So there's a few steps that you can go wrong, and you look up David Koresh and all that other shit to find out what steps those are that where you can go wrong. But and if you want to see who's doing it right, look up the Amish. Woo! You know what I mean? And figure out where you fit in between those two. But other than that,
Kelly sure so didn't get it right either.
Yeah, he didn't get it right either. Too much piss and bondage. I think that's probably on the list of shit that's gonna get you in trouble. So yeah, man, we'll catch an episode or two of that tonight, and I'm just gonna enjoy the rest of the evening, as I hope you two brothers do. And yeah, man, keep me posted on anything to get prepped for the next talk. Yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking again soon. Y'all brothers enjoy the rest of the night.
Peace.
Absolutely.
Blessings.
Peace, gentlemen.
Peace.